Hi crafters, it's Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how to make those handmade buttons using this Martha Stewart button punch. Now I've already punched out a bunch of this pattern paper because I really like the way those buttons turned out. These were the glassy looking ones, so we'll make a few of those. And then I found another pattern paper. I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do wooden buttons? Aren't those cool? So we'll do a couple of those. And then I'm just going to show you that you can take any kind of scratch paper that you have left over that you've been cutting on. I thought these would make some really cute ones. So all you do is place it in there and give it a nice tight punch, because the punch itself does the embossing. See the raised edge? Cool, huh? So this one's two-sided, so I could have, you know, this pattern or that pattern. But I kind of like the stripes. So we can do a couple of the stripes and maybe a couple of the other side too. I mean, if you're going to make a bunch, you might as well just make a bunch, right? And I pulled out this one too. So here's one that's got like a little bird on it. Let's see if we can get a little bit of that into the button, because that would be really cool. So that button turned out looking like that. There's a typewriter on here. That'd be kind of cool. So you can make buttons, you know, that match anything, any kind of thing that you're making for any type of project. It would be really cool. The other thing you're going to need besides the punch is I use a little bit of sandpaper, and I'll show you why in a minute, and Aleene's tacky glue or any kind of wet glue or adhesive that you really like. And a pair of tweezers if you're going to do embossing. We'll probably do a little bit of embossing today. So if your button has a lot of white on it, then what I do is I punch out 3 plain white pieces to go underneath. Okay? If your button is brown like the wooden ones, then I punch out 3 like another shade of brown that'll go underneath, so once your button's all put together it all looks brown on the side. Okay, it's totally up to you, that's just my preference. The other one that I don't have here is if you do a black one, then by all means do black ones underneath. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and I'm going to put one of these together and show you how I do it. Okay, I take the bottom ones first, and I put a little bit of glue around the edge so that it slips into those little cracks. And then you want to make sure that the 2 tick marks on the side, oops, sorry, I was out of frame. The 2 tick marks on the side, as you can see where it was punched out, you want to make sure that you line them up the same way, otherwise your holes in the middle will not line up. And then I just give it a push in the middle to make sure that it stays. Okay, then I flip that one over, I put a little bit more glue on that side. And you might find your own technique. And then I put the next one on, and I squeeze it in the middle. Okay, I'm just making sure each time that all the holes are really nicely lined up. And then once I've got those 3 put together, then I take the last one, the one that's the colored one for the top, and I put that one right on top. Make sure those lines, those holes line up really well, and then give it a squeeze. Just like that. And then I hold it in the middle, and do you see these little marks here? That's what I use the sandpaper for. So I sand that off, and then on the other side I sand that smooth. Okay. And that's it. That's the whole button. Now if you want to do the edges all the way around and try to smooth them out so that you don't see those little tick marks, you can do that, but I don't bother. So let's do one more. This one is a brown one. I'm going to do one of the wooden ones. Always making sure those holes line up, because otherwise it just looks funny. Okay. And I'm just going to make sure those little marks are gone. The other thing that you can do that I've done on my black ones is you can take a brown marker. Let's see if I've got one handy. This one. If you don't want the white showing from that top one, and you can just color that in brown. I do these on the black ones. If the top paper, oh gosh, I'm sorry you weren't seeing that. If the top paper has a white edge on it, and I'm making a black button, then I use a black marker. But since these are brown, I can just make the whole side brown. That kind of finishes it off too. So there's another tip. And now I'm going to take these two, because I think this one will look really cool embossed, and we're going to do a little clear embossing. So if you want to do this step, all you need is a Versamark pad or any kind of a clear ink. And then your clear embossing powder, of course, and your heat gun. So I just smash it right onto that. Pick it up with my tweezers. And then put it right into that powder and tap it off. See how it's pretty much coated? And then I'll do that 3 times. So I'm going to speed that up and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm not sure how well that was picking up, but there. You see the gloss on that? So I typically do mine 3 times. But you can do it, you know, once, twice, whatever works for you. And then if there's powder on the back, I just knock that off with a brush. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of the buttons done. I showed you how to put them together. Showed you how to make them glossy by using the embossing powder. And then these I did off camera, but they are a handmade paper that I did, but then I added the cardstock brown to the bottom, and I added stickles on the top so they glimmer. So you can do that. If you don't have stickles, you can use shiny nail polish that's got glitter in it. Nail polish works too. And then here are a couple that I did not glossy, I just left plain. But you could use glossy accents if you don't have embossing powder. Anything that you can think of that you can add to it. And you can also add string and twine and things like that. So use your imagination, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, and I'll see you guys next video.